Yeah, I mean, overall, this brought costs down like quite significantly. I said half earlier. It's probably half and three quarter cost drop in terms of what we're looking at here is cost per MQL, which is a marketing qualified lead. So they have to hit a certain they have to like check off a bunch of boxes essentially to say that they're qualified, and then a sales team can reach out to them, and it dropped the cost quite significantly when we first started running it.
You're listening to the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast, where we break down the financial principles that rich advertisers are deploying today to turn advertising into profit and get tons of traffic to their websites without killing their cash. These advertisers, agencies, affiliates, brands are responsible for managing over $1 billion a year in ad spend. You'll hear about what's working for them today, their rich ads, and we'll roast their epic failures and crappy ads on the internet with poor ads. Let's get into it.
All right, everybody. We are back with another episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast. We have your hosts, Mr. Dylan Carpenter, I'm in the house, and Zach Johnson. What's up,
Hey,
Zach?
what's going on?
Not much, man. We have a very exciting guest today. I know you were geeking out about this one, especially on the Rich Ad, but Gordon, how's it going, man? Thanks for jumping on here.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Well, everybody, we got Gordon Leslie. He is the founder, CEO of Client Magnet, probably spending about $10 million a year on ads. They're stationed over there in Toronto. But man, this is going to be quite a fun one. I know Zach's got a billion questions on the whole funding side and see what we got here. But man, kind of give everybody a little background on kind of yourself, what you're getting into over there, just so people kind of have some insights.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a small performance marketing agency. We purposely keep the kind of staff to a minimum, mainly just so we have the right type of talent, make sure everyone's run ads before they've kind of worked for us. Work with a wide variety of companies. Today, I think we're going to be talking about a pretty exciting one, Clearbanc, but we work with e-commerce stores, finance companies, and we do a little bit of Google, a little bit of Amazon ads as well.
Heck yeah. And I mean, y'all heard it best. You know what Funnel Dash does. And we're about to talk about Clearbanc. This is going to be juicy. Well, Well, sick, man. So, I mean, I know you kind of sent over this rich ad here, this solid video. Clearbanc continues to push out kind of really killer content and creative. And I know we spoke a little bit earlier on different angles that were kind of being approached, but would you kind of want to give everybody some insights on this rich ad segment, just so people kind of have some background of kind of what the actual ad was in context, more or less?
Yeah, absolutely. For the longest time, when we were running ads originally, we were doing a lot of image content, a lot of carousels, a lot of single image ads, the odd kind of GIF, the odd kind of video, and then we went out and got this what rich ad I'd call it, video made, and it's very, I'd say within the first 3 to 5 seconds, it's very kind of gunshot approach, loud, kind of in your face, flashing numbers, shows a bunch of what looks like Spotify sales coming in, addresses the concern of, hey, you just got your first few customers, it's time to grow the business, but you're lacking capital, and here's how Clearbanc can help. And yeah, it's short, 17 seconds long, fits on all platforms, all placements, and we saw a pretty good improvement from it.
Did you originally give direction on the ad? I know you mentioned all platforms and placements. Is that something you kind of gave some direction on, or is it just like, oh, heck yeah, look what we got to use now?
Yeah, we collaborated quite closely on this one, and we do a lot of their creative. This one I can't take credit for. This is one that they did, but we did like sketch it out. We did almost script it to an extent, and then we let the creators do the thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't seem like a very funding oriented ad. It seemed real hip. It was very different than what you'd expect from a kind of more traditional provider, more or less. So, I mean, it's super interesting on how it impacted, and I'm more excited to kind of get on how this actually impacts results because I know it's quite a game changer there.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this brought costs down like quite significantly. I said half earlier. It's probably half and three quarter cost drop in
Ooh.
terms of what we're looking at here is cost per MQL, which is a marketing qualified lead. So they have to hit a certain they have to like mark off check off a bunch of boxes essentially to say that they're qualified, and then a sales team can reach out to them, and it dropped the cost quite significantly when we first started running it.
How long have y'all been running it?
But 3 to 4 months it's been
Oh,
running.
so this is kind of a more OG ad that's just
Yeah,
continuously to
it's
milking it out.
exactly like we test creative against this now, and kind of benchmark, and then got some new stuff coming out tomorrow, so hopefully something beats this, and then we can put this on the back burner for a couple weeks, couple months, and then reintroduce it again.
So with this being kind of more video oriented, I'm kind of curious on what kind of copy you got. And now, is this, was this a single ad, just a single piece of copy that just performed super well over the time? Was it this a single video and maybe four types of copy? Can you kind of give us some more insights on that concept, or is it kind of just that one hit wonder that just worked super well?
That's a good question. There is variations of this ad. So there's shorter snippets. There's some longer snippets. There's SaaS focused versus ecom focused. There's UK focused versus
Mm.
North American focused, which isn't much of a difference. Those two, it's really just instead of dollar signs, it's pounds or euros. Um, the accent's different in the narration, and their limits are slightly different in terms of funding.
Mm.
Um, the ad copy has something that we've changed many times. Just testing different angles, different personas, more or less, that we're trying to go after to see what kind of affects them more. So one right now that's been running is really talking about the challenging times of COVID and how Clearbanc's there to support your business, and how they can deliver funding and within 48 hours, and really help them continue to buy inventory and pay payroll and run ads and so on.
What kind of leads y'all kind of see most of when it comes to who these ads speak to? Is it ecom brands,
Yeah,
B2B
it's
subscription?
mostly ecom. I'd say like 95% ecom.
And are they pretty new in their business phase, or they've been around the block a little bit, or
Ranges quite a bit. So there's going to be a lot of people. So on this on Clearbank's in their funnel on their site, they when you go in and sign up as a lead, there's different revenue thresholds that you put in. So there's as low as 0 to 10K, 10 to 50K, 50K plus, and then 100K plus, and we get quite a wide range of that. There is obviously a lot of people, and we don't consider these MQLs, but a lot of people that come in at 0 to 10K. um, Newer businesses might have just got a few sales, don't have really the cash flow to scale it out, looking to get some cash. I believe they do have an offer for them that's slightly different, but yeah, it ranges. Sometimes you get some whales in here, and sometimes you get these companies you never heard of that are doing like 500K a month.
so for the Nancy who's spending $300 a month on Pinterest, getting a 12x, is she a good fit or no?
So I mean, technically, you should be doing about 10K a month in revenue at a minimum. But I know they've just talked about it. They've just went out and talked about a valuation that they're releasing. It's a product where you can get valuations, and they're starting to introduce some new products. So Nancy might be in a good spot soon.
Hell yeah. So back on the kind of more result side of things, this, changed the cost per lead drastically. How'd the quality, how was the quality affected of the actual leads in that scenario? Was it pretty consistent, or
Yeah, it was pretty consistent. There's with more volume, you're going to see like everything increases, right? The number of
yep.
good leads increases, the number of average, the number of bad. So there was some bad leads, of course, depending, especially where we were targeting. There's certain countries that we played around with where there was some really bad leads, and then there's some good leads in other countries. And the UK is pretty good, the US is good, Canada's good. We did focus on a few countries in Europe that were pretty interesting, but I think we just pulled back on there for technical reasons for now. But yeah, I think it was relatively the same. Just everything was enhanced.
No, that makes total sense. And I mean, going from carousels and static to videos, I mean, it's always quite the game changer. And the fact you're able to kind of change up some of the copy angles for, COVID relief or, struggles, I think it's a killer way to kind of adapt with the, what's going on in the world, because it's very obvious what's going on. Everybody needs money right now.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that was actually challenging with when we started working with Clearbanc is getting around the special ad categories. Um,
That's a hot topic. Let's dive into that bad boy. So for y'all who don't know special ad category, it Facebook kind of screws everybody where it's no age demographic targeting, 18 to 65 plus. A lot of interests are removed. Geo targeting is a little bit trickier. So how were you able to kind of combat that? That's a tricky
Um,
one.
so to date, we don't use special ad category. Um, we to what I have found is there's three main things. One is of course your creative. What are you saying in the creative, especially if it's an image? Because they're going to read what's on that image.
Mhm.
Your ad copy is really important. So instead of saying like funding for your business, say supporting your business, and then reference things in the creative that show that it's obvious that it's funding. Um, Funding works periodically, like on an ad that we have running now, it says funding for your business, no credit check, but no personal guarantees. Don't really ever mention a dollar amount.
Mm.
Um, and then same thing with the lander. So wherever you're sending them to needs to be about the same as whatever's on your ad copy. I find those are the biggest things. And you're going to get disapprovals, like it happens, but then you just adjust a few things. Don't say, classic things like every ad, don't say you, and don't reference a very specific person. But yeah, if it gets disapproved, I just play around with the copy and resubmit. It usually gets approved.
Do y'all think you have a little bit of leeway being a big brand such as Clearbanc, or is it, following the same guidelines as most of everybody else these days?
That's a good question. I work with some smaller brands where we're advertising things that you probably shouldn't advertise, and I mean, we get around it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways around things, but I'm sure there's probably some sort of leeway to an extent. I wouldn't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I've
Yeah.
definitely seen less disapprovals lately than I have before.
Well, what about yesterday? Y'all get any crazy politically
Oh
ads
my
approved
god,
too?
dude! Everything, every every damn ad I put up was social and political. It
Yeah.
freaked me out for a second.
We were doing we had a little coffee shop we were running ads for, and they got flagged for political, and I'm like, how is that even like in the
Yeah,
equation?
yeah, yeah. We have a compression saw company. Same thing. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, snap. I mean, that's quite a little transition going from static to carousels to, videos to splitting that cost more than 50% or even half. That's just bananas. So, I mean, killer on the rich ad side, man, super juicy. And it's always nice to hear kind of stories like that.
Yeah,
But,
one thing
oh,
I'll
yeah, go.
mention too before we move off that topic is like people think image is dead and carousels are dead compared to video. They are absolutely not. Like always test against it. I mean, video is going to capture attention better, but I have image ads that run for different accounts that just drastically outperform video. I couldn't tell you why exactly. They just do. So always test everything.
How many ads you rolling with per audience or ad set these days?
Per ad set, I'll typically go 3 to 5.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good safe
no
spot.
more than that.
Heck
So I've been
yeah.
trying that dynamic creative recently. It's been pretty interesting.
Oh, I love it, man. That's my stuff, especially for retargeting, just to switch it up. I like high frequency retargeting, and it's just made it a lot easier. So would recommend.
Do you ever use reach campaigns to hit people like 7 times a day type of thing?
No, I'll only use those if it's a small budget account to where maybe we're targeting, initiate checkout users or, complete a payment to where I know it's a bucket of less than 10,000 people. So
Yeah, yeah.
10K is kind of my threshold on the reach side of things. But yeah, it works super well still. I'm about it. It's just, it's rare occasions, I'd say.
Yeah, I hear you.
This episode is brought to you by Funnel Dash's ad card, the only charge card exclusively for your digital ad spend. And if you're an ad agency that manages 7 or even 8 figures a year in media and ad spend for your clients, and you're looking to double your profits over the next 6 to 12 months, then check out ad card. See, the typical agency model is this. You charge 10% of your spend, and you make 10 to 20% margin at the end of the day. So that's really 1 to 2% of your client's spend that is profit in your business. The easiest way to double that is to really find a way to earn in that 1 to 2% cash back of the card that is on file of your client's ad account. And before ad card, what you had to do was invoice all your clients for their ad spend up front, which is really difficult on a cash flow basis and very difficult ask. And then you had to put the card on your own Amex or whatever card of choice to get that level of value back into your business. With ad card, it's entirely different and streamlined. You simply get your clients on ad card, and make yourself the agency of record, and you'll get the cash back as long as you're managing the ad spend. It's a great way to double your profit without doing any additional work. Check it out at funneldash.com.
But let's go ahead and take this bad boy into the poor ad segment. I would like both of you gentlemen to, Gordon, check out your messenger. Zach, check out the Slack. We have a verified poor ad today. It looks like some sort of medicine. I couldn't tell you what it's for, but it's probably one of the worst ads I've ever seen it from a verified page before. So Gordon,
How
let me
is
go
it
ahead.
verified? How is
Yeah.
that verified?
That's what I'm saying. I don't get this. And for those who are curious, they're breaking so many rules, bit.ly links, over 20% text rules. It's just absolutely terrible. But Gordon, let me get those first thoughts on this bad boy. Would you convert?
So I honestly don't see it in the chat right now.
Oh, it's in the your Facebook Messenger actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me 2 seconds then.
Please see
So-
full prescribing information, including
Oh
boxing
my
warning and
God.
medication guide.
Yeah, this is an actual ad, y'all. Like 100%.
Oh my God. Dude, that's horrible. Like that like the first thought looking at the image in the headline, it doesn't look like English. It just looks like a bunch of like someone hammered on a keyboard and just made a bunch of letters.
I don't even know how to pronounce this. Excel gens. Excel gens. Wow. Dude,
Wow, this
awful.
is very specific too, eh?
I did think it was in another language.
Oh, 100%. It's like they took a picture of the back of a pill bottle and just ran that in an ad, if not worse.
There's
That's
no
that's brutal.
There's no likes or comments on it though, so they must have just sent it to you. and then
No, this is an actual spawn. And so, fortunately, of all the Facebook groups I'm in, everybody drops some crappy ads every once in a while. And this was one that was dropped this past week, and I was just like, how does this get away, for one, with that 20% textual, and how's this delivering the bit.ly link? There are so many things wrong with it. And of course, it's by prescription only. So, I mean, you have so many hoops to jump through. You got to see a doctor to get
alone,
this.
yeah.
Like it's.
That alone getting approved. Like we had a client that is an online pharmacy. Like Hims and Hers. It's like it's the Canadian version of that.
Ooh.
And dude, just getting approved on things was wild.
For the Hims and Hers, is it more to the ED side or kind of hair
regrowth?
Regrowth?
We did everything. Like the main things were birth control for women, ED for men, and then hair and skin were like kind of secondary.
I don't even know how you get whitelisted for that stuff these days. It's just ridiculous.
You have to become a
partner agency, or
like you get this thing called legit script is what it's called, and it's like allows you to be classified as an online pharmacy even though they're not a pharmacy.
Yeah, let me go ahead and write this down. Legit script. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, I mean, this is just, I can't believe a brand would roll this out. I wonder if they knew they rolled this out. It's just complete trash.
Not good.
Good. That was fun, y'all. It's always fun to talk about trash ads. But Zach, man, you ready for this final portion of the segment, man?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Gordon. Dun, 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 dun.
What's up?
Okay, so this will be interesting. So with you being behind the scenes, promoting different financial products and loans and advances, and for those looking to scale, like what financial tactics, strategies, principles would you give to the e-commerce business owner looking to scale? Maybe they're doing between 10 grand to 50 grand a month. Like what is your advice there, right? Because you have the agency side, right? So you're like working with clients, trying to push them on budgets, tell them when to spend, what not to spend. But you've also seen, like who funding it has been great for, and probably who it's not a great fit for. So what advice would you have to those that are, thinking about capitalizing their business, ramping up scale, and like some do's and don'ts?
Yeah. I mean, like, so I've worked with some clients where, they're getting a 5, 6, 7, 8x ROAS on a high ticket product, and it's like, dude, you need to spend every last dollar you have on this right now because you have no costs besides your ad spend. And those are the types of people I'm like, hey, if you don't have the cash flow, um, you got to go to someone like Funnel Dash or Clearbanc or like whoever. Some of these companies that offer um, almost like performance driven capital based off of, it's all metrics. It has nothing to do with who you are. It has nothing to do with your credit. Like I think that's really important for people to do. And the risk to the store owner or the business is so small because usually it's just based off of a percentage of they take a percentage of revenue until you pay it back, and it's like it's almost a no-brainer. Where I don't think it kind of makes sense, and where I've had people, even friends that have they start an e-com store, they have like a 1.7 or a 2x ROAS when they're doing it themselves, and they're trying to go get money, and I'm like, probably not the right idea yet. Like you need to get that ROAS up, get those ads performing because they have, they might have other costs like the product costs and everything like that, and it just doesn't make sense financially for them. What I don't think you should do for most businesses, it's not wrong for all businesses, but raising capital is not always the best move. I know there's a lot of unique ways to do it, and I'm no expert in it in any way. But if I can get $100,000 loan from like a company like Funnel Dash or Clearbanc, um, versus giving up 20% or 10% or 5% of my company, I'm gonna do the loan all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I
there's
think
lots
some
of
of that
options.
though, I think some of the people, I would say 99% of the people that take a Clearbanc loan, m- maybe venture is not even like an option for them, right? So like, let's just,
You're right.
I
Yeah.
know, I know we love to compare it because of equity and like it's an easy trap that I think everybody in finance and lending does. Um, but I think there's also some sobering conversations that we can have around, are they really investing in growth? Like how do you think someone is really and you started to hint at it a little bit, right? In terms of like what is your ad performance? I think one of the things I see, some people do when they roll up to Clearbanc is, they're getting this 6-month advance and it's not really being invested into growth. It's maybe being invested into like payroll, or maybe it's like inventory so that you can kind of ramp
Hmm.
up, more ads. But I would really, um, I would just not have like a blanket statement of like, go get lending, like to invest in growth, assuming you can invest in growth. One of my buddies here in Austin, um, great company, do a couple million a year, in revenue. And I was like, dude, you could go like leverage debt and, ramp up your customer acquisition. He's like, yeah, I know I could. And I know those funds are available to me. But like, I honestly don't know that if I invested those dollars, like that, that my ads would scale to that level of spend, right? Or like, or my ROAS like might decrease if I scaled that. I'm like, dude, good for you on like at least knowing your business that investing debt will move the needle or not move the needle.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
I don't know. But what do you? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I actually I agree with that. I think it's subjective in a sense of if you invest in those funds and maybe you've been doing ads in house the whole time and you've kind of hit your bandwidth of what know how to do, and
No.
maybe instead of taking the funds and spending it on ad spend, you go and hire someone who's considered an expert that doubles what you were doing with the same amount
Mm.
of spend. I think it's really subjective in that sense, but you're totally right. If you know the economics of your business and you know that dumping 20% more money into ads isn't actually going to move the needle, then there's no point in doing it. I think if you're comparing going to a bank and getting it like a traditional loan
Mm,
that's relatively high interest, then you need to like weigh your options,
mhm.
because then you're definitely on the line too if that doesn't come back to them
Yeah.
in a certain amount of time, and you could spend rack up a lot of debt in that sense.
So, what do you think the agency's role is in this conversation, this narrative? Right? We've had some agencies on that straight up just say, "Yeah, I don't even talk to my clients about finances. I don't talk to them about funding, capitalizing their business. It's not my job." Right? Like I
Hmm.
just run ads. And then there are others that are positioning themselves as much more value add. They're driving revenue. They're truly are aligned with the performance and unit economics of the business. Uh, how has this personally come up in your agency, right? Of do you really engage in these conversations? Does it happen often? People ask you for advice, or are you not? Are you kind of just like playing Switzerland here and be like, yeah, it's not, I'm out. I don't want to get
Um,
involved.
yeah. So I think like the way I look at being an agency is uh, with clients is like it's my job to grow their business as much as I can and kind of any capabilities that I can. So even though we're an ad agency, if someone I find is shitting the bed on like email marketing, I'm not going to offer it as a service, but I'm going to like sit down with them for an hour and probably map out a funnel and then they can go figure it out from there. And I think the same thing goes where, some of those clients where we're getting like a high ROAS and they're only being limited because they don't have the capital. Um, is at that point, I'm like, hey, it's time. You need to look at some funding. There's like, honestly, before I even knew about Clearbanc and Funnel Dash and you guys, like um, I would give my credit card to clients sometimes and be like, I'm going to scale the spend with my card. As long as I had a relationship with them. I mean, it's not the smartest thing to do. I'm like essentially acting as a bank and I can get screwed. So we don't really do that. But it was more, early on when I was new to business and I saw there was an opportunity. I like to look at it like it's everyone's kind of like my friend. Every business that I'm working with, it's like I know them personally. Let's do whatever we can. So if there's an
Yeah,
opportunity to suggest it, I will absolutely suggest it. If I
I
won't
think
push it though.
I want to do like a little native advertisement for ad card here because this is something that actually happens quite a bit. Gordon is the agency paying for the media budget, right? And
Hmm.
this can be a tricky situation. There's several use cases here. One is what you mentioned, hey, like scale up, which is crazy. But like the more common one is I want to put it on my card to earn cash back, or the other one is like I'm going to invoice you up front and then we're going to put it on my cards because I want to own the ad account. Like there's at least half a dozen use cases where the agency ends up putting the spend on the card.
Hmm.
And this is something that we really wanted to engineer with ad card and get right was have the versatility to where an agency could have their clients sign up for the card, but the agency could earn in the cash back so that they didn't have to do this like billing gymnastics of like invoicing the client just to participate in cash back, right?
Right.
And then also um to insert ourselves, into that flow of payments with the agency at the card for all those agencies that charge a percentage of spend. That's kind of like a billing nightmare, right? Like taking 8, 10, 12% of spend. Awesome that you kind of like threw it on the card, but like um some of these folks that want to get an extra 1, 2% cash back, like it has a massive boost in their margins. Uh but it's like the most complex billing system in all of services, right? It's not as easy just calculating hours and billing an hourly rate. You have to like invoice up front, and then
Yeah,
you
that's
have
that's a
to
nightmare.
you have to invoice at the end of the month your differential on the spend. And so with AdCar, we're looking to basically do like a surcharge, like when you go to a restaurant, you do like a tip, right? Hey, tip the waiter 20,
Mhm.
25%. Same thing, like throw up the card in the ad account and like, essentially tip your ad agency daily, like 8, 10, 15% of spend, like whatever. And like, don't make your ad agency wait 30, 60, 90 days to get paid, or wait till the month ends and see how much they're spending. So these are, I'm very passionate about agency payments and their relationship to the advertiser, ecosystem. So you kind of touched a hot button there. And I wanted to take the moment to just tell everybody how awesome AdCard is. So thank you. Insert back to
I like it.
podcasts.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but the Bank of Gordon sounds pretty dang good to me.
Let's not promote that, please. Please.
Bank of Gordon. Yeah, how do we? Yeah, what is that card number actually, Gordon?
Oh,
There's the ad card, there's the Brex card, the Amex card, and the Gordon card. It's more elusive than the black card. It's just like only Gordon and one press client have it. That's funny, man. Well, that's cool. Well, thanks for indulging me on those questions, Gordon. Tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to next, how they can get in touch, and how we can support you here at Funnel Dash.
Cool. Yeah. Still running with the agency, clientmagnet.co. If anybody has any questions, happy to help out in any way. We've been building another company called conversify.ai. Actually, it helps a lot of agencies if you are looking to grow your business. I mean, at the end of the day, it's automated outreach and follow-ups, personalized on LinkedIn. And it's been pretty exciting. It's starting to catch some traction, which is great. And so if you need some sales and you just don't have the bandwidth to do it, you can go check that out.
It worked for me, in case anybody's curious.
That's awesome. Oh, that's good stuff, man. Well, this has been an awesome episode. Thank you so much, Gordon. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Rich Ad Poor Ad podcast. If you're like me and listen to podcasts on the go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and richadpooradcom/podcast. And if you absolutely love the show, go ahead and leave a review and a comment, share with a friend. If you do, take a copy, screenshot of it, email me, Zach@funneldash.com, show me you left a review, and I'll give you a free copy of the Rich Ad Poor Ad book. To learn more about the book, go to richadpoorad.com. To leave a review, go to richadpoorad.com/review. Thanks again.